Hello and welcome to tonight's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. Oh, I've got a frog in my throat. Sorry about that. Well, we're going to be having a look at this puzzle on the screen, which has been recommended to us many times. It is by AnalyticalNinja and Palpot, a collaboration between two masterful setters, currently bearing a 99% approval rating on Logic Masters Germany. And as I say, this has been very heavily touted to us as a puzzle we need to do. It's called Balancing Act, and it has a very unusual rule set, sort of a yin-yang hybrid. Yeah, I will read through the rules in a moment or two's time. Now, I don't have much news for you today. Let me just think about it. The usual appeal, if you enjoy the channel, please do consider joining us on Patreon, where we have currently, what is undoubtedly the best puzzle club in the world. Monthly competitions, extra videos, a go-go, and all sorts of extra stuff over there. And a recommendation for our suite of Sudoku apps as well, different from the average Sudoku apps because all the puzzles are handmade by some of the great and the good of the Sudoku community. And as you know, if you follow the channel, the great thing about handmade puzzles is that they are different. They are really rather wonderful. Yeah, let's prove it. Let's have a look at Balancing Act by AnalyticalNinja and Palpot. I will read you the rules. They are as follows. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply, which means we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3x3 box. Yin and yang shade some cells such that all shaded cells are orthogonally connected and all unshaded cells are orthogonally connected. No 2x2 area may be fully shaded or fully unshaded. So let's stop there, and I will draw my patented example, which actually someone made into a puzzle, which was very funny. Was it Half-Baked Lunatic? So I will show you a possible valid yin-yang shading, and then we'll talk about how we might change this shading so that it isn't valid. So this is a potential yin-yang shading that's correct, and that's because if you go look at the green area, you can trace through the entire green area by moving along cells that share edges with one another, and the same is true with the blue area. Also, if you look at the green area and the blue area, you won't find any 2x2 area that's completely one colour. Now, how could we change this so it didn't work? If we made this square green, there would be two problems. Firstly, this green is not orthogonally connected to the rest of its green friends, so it fails. The green fails the test. Also, you can now see that the blue is not orthogonally connected to all of its friends because it can't get through this sort of wall of green here. So we mustn't do that if we want the shading to be correct. So that is how yin-yang works. Now, what's the next rule? It says, along a line, any changes in shading, divide that line into segments of fully shaded or fully unshaded cells. Any change? Yeah. Okay, I see. So each segment is just one colour. On each line, each such segment, shaded or unshaded, must have the same sum as all other segments. Right, on each line, each such segment. Right, let's just go back then to my shading. Let's see if we can understand how that might work. Okay, so we can actually see immediately this can't be true. So my example shading can't be right because along this brown line, this segment and that segment, which are each I think a complete segment, would have to have the same total. I wonder if we can make it work for anything here. It might not be possible. Yeah, along this one it might work, because what we're saying is that which is a blue segment, has the same sum as the two green segments. So I sort of understand that so far, but there's more. Within the shaded areas, okay, so we're going to have one colour for shading, one colour for unshaded. Within the shaded areas, adjacent digits along the lines must differ by at least 5. So sometimes that's called a German whispers constraint. So if these three squares were all one colour, and we made this square a 1, this square would have to be at least 6 in order to be 5 different from 1. And within unshaded areas, let's use the same example. If this is an unshaded area, any string of 3 or fewer digits along the lines must be from a different set of 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8 and 3, 6, 9. So sometimes this is called a modular line. And so the way to see this is to look at your number pad keypad and look at vertical stripes. 1, 4, 7, 2, 5, 8 and 3, 6, 9 are sort of the vertical stripes. So in fact, let's extend this one cell and let's think about how this works. So I think what this means is we take a 3-cell segment, and one of these cells would have to be from the 1, 4, 7 set, one of these cells would be from the 2, 5, 8 set, and one would be from the 3, 6, 9 set. And whatever this one was, look, let's say that was a 1. Whoops. Then this digit, so if we look at this 3-cell segment, there would need to be, again, there would need to be one of each, wouldn't there? But this one would have to be from the 1, 4, 7 set if this was the situation, because in that 3-cell segment, we've got this as the 1, 4, 7. So these are not 1, 4, 7, but there would need to be a 1, 4, 7 in that 3-cell segment. So this, you get this sort of iterative effect along the line. Anyway, that was probably badly explained, but hopefully you got the idea. That is all the rules. Do have a go. 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty, so probably not a total walk in the park. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. It must be this, mustn't it? I say with... Well, actually, let's start first without doing any thinking, and let's just think about some of the secrets that I can share with you about yin-yang patterns, because there are 2. Well, there's at least 2. I think there's 2 obvious ones. The first is that we can never have a checkerboard shading. So this sort of shading pattern is impossible, and that's because of the requirement that we orthogonally connect the greens and we separately orthogonally connect the blues. So let's try and achieve an orthogonal connection for the green, and it doesn't matter how complicated we make the connection of the green cells. You can see you're going to create a wall preventing the blues from being orthogonally connected. You now can't get this blue to here without going through the wall of green somehow, so it just doesn't work. So there is no room for checkerboarding, and what that means is that we can think about the perimeter of a yin-yang puzzle. Let's make it entirely green. Now that is a possibility to have a single coloured perimeter. Let's introduce some blue. Now here is a question. Could I introduce another section of blue anywhere in this perimeter? And the answer to that is no. Let's do that just for the sake of exposition. And this comes from the sort of checkerboard principle. Because we've sort of got an exploded checkerboard now, in the sense that these blues have to be connected. And however we did that, whatever route we took to achieve that, this green couldn't now orthogonally connect to the green on the other side of the grid. So what we can do is we can have 2 stretches of colour in the perimeter, 1, 2, but no more than 2. And we could have 1. That is also possible. We could have the entire perimeter being in 1 colour. Now, I mean, we know things like this has got to be divided into... Why is that one closed and that one isn't closed? Let me just read the rules again. Does it make a difference if the line is closed? Oh, but no, I suppose it does. Yeah, no, it could do. It could do if it was German whispers, couldn't it? Because if you've got to have the digits differing by 5 at least, it might make a difference with the closure of the loop. Okay. Okay, it probably is this. Do we have to use... Maybe we have to use the secret. Now, the secret is something I share only with my very favourite people. If you're still watching this video, you're definitely one of my favourite people. So I'm going to share the secret with you. And the secret is that a complete row of a Sudoku, because of the rules of Sudoku, contains the digits 1 to 9 in some order. And if we sum the digits 1 to 9, we get 45. That is the secret. But we know that this line, well, I was going to say we know this line must be divided up. We do, actually. That line can't be a single colour. Because if it's a single colour, well, how are we going to avoid a 2 by 2 of one colour in the grid? The moment we introduce a blue down there, all of this would have to be green. And the moment we make all this green, there would be a 2 by 2 of green. So we can't have a single stripe. So this line is going to be divided up into some number of segments. Now 45 is interesting because how do you divide up 45? You can't have more than 9 segments along here because we could alternate colours. So you could have 9. Okay, and you can't have 9 segments. You can't split this line into 9 different segments by alternating the colour, because every single segment would then have the same sum, and that would be 5, and that would require us to fill the line with 5s. So we don't do that. So we're dividing by a number that is smaller than 9, that divides into 45 exactly. Okay, we can do that 2 different ways. So we could divide the line into 5 segments of each adding up to 9. So the 9 would be a single cell segment along here somehow. Or we could divide it into 3 segments, each of which sums to 15. So there are always an odd number of segments. Right. Okay, so what that means is as there are always an odd number of segments along this line, whatever the colour of this cell is will also be the colour of this cell. So these two are the same colour, is what we can deduce from that. Because if this is 3, it's going to go green, let's say blue, green, and if it's 5 different regions, it's going to be something like green, blue, green again. So these are always the same. And that means if we can find one break of colour in the perimeter somewhere else. So say, no, we're not going to, say we knew say all of those couldn't be the same colour. Then we would know all of these had to be green, because remember there can only be 2 segments of colour in the perimeter. So can all those be the same colour is the question I'm going to ask now. And the answer to that is I don't know. So if these were all whispery, oh, that's fine actually. What's the other one? Oh, modularity. Is there a restriction if that also has to be? That's weird, actually. I don't think there's very much restriction at all on this. There can't be a restriction. These can be the same colour, can't they? I don't see why not. If they're the same colour, then let's make those purple for a moment. If they're purple, they can't all be purple. Goodness me. Right, okay, that's weird. Right, well, no, more specifically than that, there is a break. These are not the same colour. The 2 ends of this staple here can't be the same colour. Because they just can't. No, but that's not a good reason. I will explain. If they were the same colour, these can't all be blue, because that would create a 2 by 2 of blue. But it's not possible that both of these are green, because if both of these are green, this line breaks up into separate segments. That is one segment, this is the second segment, that is the third segment. Each segment has the same sum, so those would be the same number. That's not going to work from a Sudoku perspective. So what we could do is this, but that doesn't change the fact. Look, now we've got one segment, second segment, third segment. So these two would be the same number. So you're always going to get a repeated digit or a repeated segment size of length 1 if these are the same color. So one of these is green and one of these is the other color. So we're going to have to decide what our other color is going to be. Maybe actually I could use blue and I think blue and orange are our most. The blue and orange is horrible against the brown background though. I'm trying to think of what will be the most colorblind friendly options. I could go green. Could I do that? No, I don't like that either. I think I'm going to go for green and something. Either green and yellow. I might try green and blue. Let's just try green and blue for a while and see if it feels okay. Now we know these are the same, so I can designate those green. Yeah. And now because we know that one of these is blue, could we have another blue anywhere in the top side of the grid? No. So this is all entirely green, and that's going to be the start we need. Now we've got to avoid 2x2s in the corners. These were all the same colour. Now, what does that mean? I don't know yet. I don't know yet, but this is very interesting so far. Let me think. Have we got checkerboard avoidance opportunities? I don't see anything here. So one of these colours, either green or blue, corresponds to modularity. So if green was modular, these would all three be different from a different set of the digits 1 to 9. So those 3 digits, if you summed them, would be exactly divisible by 3. Because you can think of 147 as having a remainder of 1 when divided by 3. 258 has a remainder of 2 when divided by 3, and 369 has a remainder of 0 when divided by 3. So if you add three numbers from each of those sets, you'll always get something that's divisible by 3. Wow. Okay, sorry, I'm not seeing what on earth I need to do here. I don't see what to do at all. This is weird. Sorry. I mean, there's no problem with this being whispered. There is no problem. I mean, let's just talk a bit about that. But a whisper line you can't include a 5 on, because if this was whispered and you put 5 on it, the next digit's impossible because it has to be at least 5 different from 5. If you go upwards, you get to 10 or higher. If you go downwards, you get to 0 or lower. They're not Sudoku digits, so you can't put 5 on the line. So what you're going to have is you're going to have a digit that's either lower than 5 or higher than 5 in any position along the whispers line. Let's say this was higher than 5. The crucial thing to realise is that the next digit would have to be lower than 5, because if it was higher than 5 again, whichever 2 of these digits you picked, you cannot make them 5 apart. So if you pick 6 here and 9 here, which is the furthest apart these could be, that's only 3 difference. It's not 5 difference. So what you have to do instead is make sure that this would be lower, and this would be lower as well for obvious reasons. You get this oscillation along a German whispers line. But I mean, I suppose if this was whispers, the sum of those would be, if this was whispers, I don't think this could be a single digit. So I don't think that could be green, because if this was blue, if this is a 1-cell segment, that could be a 9. Can you keep the whisper down to 9 with 3 digits? Not quite, because if you do put 6 in the middle of the line, you'd have to put 1 on both sides of it. 1 is the only digit that accompanies a 6 along a German whisper. So to to actually have a valid 3-cell segment, I think the minimum you could do would be that, which is 10, which I can't write into a single segment. And obviously if I oscillate with high digits, I'm going to get to a much higher number. But that's all predicated on that being whispered, which I don't see why it needs to be. And we don't know what this is. Or at least I don't think we... Oh. So if that was blue... No, because that's fine. If that's blue, it would mean this couldn't be whispered. So this would be modular. And the 3 digits would add up to a number divisible by 3. So I could make that a 6, and that could be a 1, 2, 3 triple. 1, 2, and 3 are from different vertical strands of the number pad. Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm not getting this, am I? So let's try something else. Is it this line again? What did we say about this? We said that it's an odd number of segments along the line, and each segment either sums to 15 or sums to 9. And if it sums to 9, the 9 has to sit as a lone digit, because there has to be a 9 in the row. So wherever the 9, let's say that was the 9, that would sit on its own as a segment on its own. And then the other segments are all going to be dominoes that sum to 9, because then you have to put 8 somewhere along the line, and 8 could only go with 1 to make 9, and then you're going to have a 7 that could only go with 2 as a result of that. So you're going to have 8, 1, 7, 2, 3, 6, 4, 5. And then, that's not a problem, is it? I suppose... Well, actually... Oh, I see. Ah! I see. Right. Oh, that's... Okay, that's very clever. I hadn't even thought about this until I... You can't do that. That does not work. And that is because it matters. That actually matters. So if you think about, so what I'm saying is you cannot divide this into segments of 9. I'm going to show you why. Let's try and do it. I'm just going to imagine this is 9. Then, because I've got to have each segment is summing to 9. The rest. Oh, let's use blue. Let's actually stick with the colours. The rest of the splitting is going to be via dominoes. So we're going to get exactly this pattern if this is the 9. But the point is these pairs. One of these pairs is going to be 3 and 6. Now, which colour should we now... I was going to say, which colour is green? No, green is the colour green. No, but which rule are we going to apply to 3 and 6? You can't apply the modular rule because 3 and 6 are from the same modular set. They both have 0 remainder when divided by 3. So this has to be German whispers, and 6 and 3 are not 5 apart. So that you just can't do it. It cannot be right. So what that means is that this line is divided into 3 segments, each of which sums to 15. Now I can't write 15 into either of those squares. So the green has to extend. At least slightly, possibly much further, because you could have, or could you? Well, no, oh, maybe you could. 1, 2, 3. You might be able to have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segment if it was the modular rule applying to a 1. So imagine this was a 5-cell segment that contained 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That would add to 15. I think that would be okay if it was modular. And then 6, 9 couldn't be modular for the other 15. So 6, 9, oh, 6, 9 does, no, that doesn't work. Okay, you can disprove a 5-cell segment, but it's not actually that straightforward to do it. Anyway, let's carry on with this, because that is a much easier deduction. Actually, I am going to disprove. Yeah, I think this central cell has to be blue. Although, even if that's true, what's that actually doing for me? It's not doing anything. I still don't think I get this, you know. I still don't think I get this. I mean, there's been some fascinating logic, but it's not doing anything. I need to know which colour is which. That's what I need to know. There must be a way. There must be a way of telling. Oh, I've got a horrible feeling I'm being very dense here. If you have a 2-cell segment, can you not have... Is that the problem? No, you can have a 2-cell segment adding to 15. You just can't, that just couldn't be German whispers, because say this was a 2-cell segment and it added to 15, it could be 7, 8 or 6, 9. Now, neither of those is a valid whispers example, because neither of those combinations has digits that are 5 apart at least. But 7 and 8 would work as a modular set. They are from different modular sets, so 7, 8 would be okay. So there's only a maximum of 1 2-cell segment along this line. Oh, bother. How do you do this then? Oh, I don't know. Is it going to be... I really don't know. What is it? It's going to be... It's going to be something weird that I've not even thought about, like, I don't know, that can't be blue or something, because you can't have a 1-cell segment of blue. But I don't see why you can't. Or maybe if that was green, you get blue on both sides of it. If that's blue, then we thought this had to be modular, didn't we? So this would be 6. Yeah, this would be modular. This would be divisible by... This would be 3, 6 or 9, but those are 3 different numbers. So this would be 6 or 9. And then this segment would have to have the same sum. So it would have to be 2 cells adding up to 6 or 9, or 3 cells actually, because you could do 9 in 3 cells. You might be able to, actually, maybe that could be a 3 cells. Hang on. No, hang on. Hang on, no, because this would be obeying the whispers. Oh, this is confusing. I think this would be obeying the whispers constraint. These would be modular, so blue would be whispers. So let's say that was a 6. That couldn't work, because either I'd have to repeat the 6 here or make a 2-cell segment summing to 6 using digits that are 5 apart, and 6 and 1 add up to 7. So this would have to be 9. This would have to be a 2-cell segment, but 7 and 2 would work. Yeah, 7 and 2, I think. I think that would be how it has to work. So that probably is how it does work. So I'm now claiming it's very likely that rather than this being green, which would make this blue, this is blue, making this blue. Now, is that doing anything clever? These add up to 9. They would be one of each modularity. Wow, I don't know. I don't know, sorry. Okay. That means what then? It's very hard to know. I don't really know where the pressure is in this puzzle. "15 is divisible by 3. So I mean, is there some reason? I'm not even sure it matters again. I was wondering if there's some reason this line has to divide into 3 segments, each of length 3. The thing is, I worked out that you could have a 2-cell segment. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to read the rules again. Have I missed a rule? Okay, everything divides into segments. There's some blue segment in the middle of this, but we don't know what blue is yet. Within the shaded areas, adjacent digits along the line must differ by 5. Oh, okay. Is it something to do with how I do that from a whispers perspective then? Yeah, maybe it's that. Okay, so let's just think about this. Somewhere along this line, I don't know whether it's the colour green or blue yet, so I'm just going to use a different colour. Let's use yellow. Can you make a 2-cell segment sum to 15 if you're applying a whispers rule to it? No, because we know it's 7, 8 or 6, 9. That doesn't work. Can you do it with 3 cells? Or perhaps a better question is, can you do it with 4 cells? No. Ah, that's it. Right, you can't do it with 4 cells. Because 4 cells, because of the oscillating principle, i.e. 2 of these digits are going to be high digits, aren't they? And 2 of them are going to be low. Well, the minimum high digits would be 6 and 7. The minimum low digits would be 1 and 2. And 6 plus 7 plus 1 plus 2 is 16. It is more than 15. So there can only be... No, that's wrong as well. Well, it means that the whispers parts of this line are 3 long. And if they're 3 long, do we know the... So let's look at that. If they're 3 long, do we know the polarity? Do you have to go... You could go 6, 1, 8. That is what you could do. If these are high polarity... If it's oscillating such that these are high polarity and we get 2 high digits within the set of 3, I think they have to be 6 and 8. Because they can't be 7 and 8, that's too big. And they can't be 6 and 7 because you couldn't put 2 here. Because 2 and 6 are too close together. Right, so there might only be one way of doing this, I think. So you could have 6 and 8 if these are high. If these are low... how would that work? This digit, the maximum size of those would be 7 if they were 3 and 4. I don't think that works. I think it's impossible, isn't it? Because 4 would have to go next to 9. Oh no, you could do 4, 9, 2. Oh no! Hang on. Yeah, it's weird actually, because you can't do it with 3, 4, which is the way you'd automatically think you had to go. Because that would cause this to be 9, because 4 and 9 are monogamous, and if you put 4 on the line, you have to put 9 next to it. Now it doesn't add up, it's 16, but if you change that back to 2, it meets the criteria. Wow, so there's one. Okay, so there are two ways to do it, which is very, very annoying, because that means that you could have green here and here. Otherwise, we would know that green was a 3-cell stretch in the middle. But do we, okay, so do we now know that all... No, I don't think we do, actually. We know that the 3-cell segment, there's either 1 or 2 3-cell segments using the whispers constraint. So either it goes 3 cells green whispers, 3 cells modularity, 3 cells green whispers, or it goes some number of cells modular, which might only be 2 if it was an 8-7. So say that was 8-7, 3-cell whisper. But can you combine those two things? Because the two options for the 3-cell whisper were 8-6-1, weren't they? 8-6-1, that was one of them. And the other one was 4-9-2. I mean, we only need to show one of the 6-8 ones. It's no point showing both. So 6-1-8 or 4-9-2. Yeah, that can live with a 7-8 pair, can't it? Providing it was the 2-4-9 version. So we can have a 2-cell modular, and then on the other side you'd have 4. Oh, hang on, you can't. Oh no. Maybe it's to do with the number of. If you had a 4-cell modular line, let's think about that. So if you have. What I'm trying to work out is whether this line has to split into 3-3-3. And if we went 2, the only way it doesn't split into 3-3-3 is if you have a 2-cell modular. Oh, go away, bit defender. How do I make that go away? You have a 2-cell modular, which has to be 7-8. No, actually, could it be 6? No, it can't be 6-9. They're both from the same set. Then you have a 3-cell whisper, which is one of those two options we looked at, which actually in this instance would have to be 2-4-9. And then you'd have a 4-cell modular, but the 4-cell modular would have to go in a very specific order. It would have to be 3 and 6, and then 1 and 5. Yeah, it works. Wouldn't it? Because we'd need to repeat one of the modularities, this one, would repeat. And in order to make sure this was divisible by 3, this would have to be the 3 and this or the 3-6-9 set that was repeating. So you go 3-6 adding up to 9, you plot 1-5 in the middle, one from each of the other modular sets, and this is all working fine and dandy. So we don't know is where we're reaching the conclusion. Although, no, actually, hang on. Well, no, this doesn't help me, does it? This just doesn't help me. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So I've got to think of some other way of disambiguating this. Let's get back to where we were. This line is a complicated beastie. Right, and I must have to look. I think I have to look somewhere else. But there's nowhere that looks remotely lovely to look at. It's not this again, is it? It can't be this. It just can't be. He says. And it will be for some reason that is totally opaque to me. We know these are different colours. Let's just pick a way round this goes, and consider it. How can it break up? Okay, well, if it goes 2-2 like that, then what? If it goes 2-2, the whispers side of this is going to add to at least 7, because it's going to have a high digit and a low digit. So it could be something like 6 and 1. Yeah, and then the modular bit could be 3 and 4. And that seems absolutely fine. So there is no way to tell, is there? Sorry, I'm just... no. What I was about to say is nonsense. Is there some reason? Yeah, maybe there is. Okay, maybe we can do some shading down in this area of the grid. Let me think about that. Effectively, yeah. Okay, one of these squares has to be blue. That must be true, because otherwise you've got a 2x2 of green. So at least one of these squares is blue, and at least one of these squares is green. And the blue that's in one of these two squares is effectively therefore going to be corralled, because there's effectively a wall of green made up of one of these being green and this green, through which the blue that must be in here must get out. If that's green, it's very clear to see. You'd have to come this way, wouldn't you? And if that's green, it's still the same, because although this is blue, the blue that's in one of these has to get out through a green here and these two greens. So this is always blue. And I think that is also always blue. Yeah. So, okay, so the shading that I had there of 2-2 is actually impossible here. This has to be 3-1. Oh, that's done it. Right, goodness me. I mean, that's very clever, actually, because this is the last thing you look at. I mean, it's bizarre enough that it gives you the shading of green, but it actually also gives you the colouring, because how could this line possibly be, if blue was whispers now, 3 different whispers numbers? Well, even if you put the low number in the middle, it couldn't be 6, because that would be surrounded by double 1. So the minimum, we looked at it here, the minimum you could do is 712, which is 10, which cannot be right. So blue is modular, and green is whispers. But this actually, we might be in luck now, because we've worked out, I've already worked out, that if green is whispers, and this line is split into 3 sections adding up to 15, each green section has to be 3 cells. It was the only way you could do it. So this is now blue. This, avoid a checkerboard here, that's got to be blue. Oh, this is going to be gorgeous. If this goes now, I will be so pleased. So blue is modular. So that means these 3 digits, whichever way round blue and green are, there's 3 of different modularities adding up to the green. So the green is going to be 6 or 9. There's a 6 or a 9 down here. I bet you can't do 1, 2, 3 adding up to 6. Because if you do 1, 2, 3 adding up to 6, what do you put on this green stretch? You've only got one low digit you could use, which would be 4. So the polarity of this would be 4 in the middle with double 9 on either side. That doesn't work. So one of these is a 9. And then we have one of each modularity adding up to 9. So it's going to be... I was going to say it's going to be 6, 1, 2, but it could be 2, 3, 4. Oh, but one of those is going to be a problem, isn't it? If you go 2, 3, 4, then you've only can use 1, but you could do 1, 8, 6. If you go 1, 2, 6, if you go 1, 2, 6, yeah, that it's getting complicated, but 1, 2, 6 won't work. But I'm going to have to show this, I think, because it's complicated. If we go 1, 2, 6 as the split, how do you fill this line? And if you remember, there were two ways. One was 2, 4 with a 9 in the middle. That worked. Well, that's ruled out very clearly. And the other one was 1, 8, 6, and that's ruled out. So this has to be a 9 in one of these and a 2, 3, 4 triple. So these are from 2, 3, 4 and 9. And this line is now not 2, 4, 9. It must be 1, 8, 6, and the 1 goes in the middle of that. So this is a 6, 8 pair. These squares are 5 and 7. This is beautiful, isn't it? We are actually doing okay now. This must be 2, 4, 9, and the 9 must go in the middle of that. And hopefully we'll be left with 3 modular thingies that work here, which are going to be 3, 5, 7. Yeah, 7 has a remainder 1, 3 has a remainder 0, 5 has a remainder 2. That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful and really quite remarkable that it works. Now, okay, so what's this stretch now? That is a stretch of German whispers. Yeah, okay, so we looked at this earlier. That must add up to at least, oh, go away. How do I make this go away? Sorry, Bit Defender is trying to be difficult. Okay, this adds up to a three-digit number. No, but even if it can't actually be 712 now. So it adds up to quite a lot, I think. You couldn't put 6 in the middle. But the point is, even if it can't be 712, let's say it could be 812. That might be possible. But that adds up to 11. So this can't be a single cell segment. So that has to extend. So these are both blue. This can't be blue, because if that's blue, it's a single cell segment adding up to at least 11 or something, whatever it was. So that's got to be green. Now these two both have to be blue. Now, do I know what that is? If that was green, it would be putting lots of blues in the world. If it was blue, then we'd have 3 cells of blue, which would be, blue is modular line, so these would add up to something divisible by 3. Okay, don't know how to do that. Is there some sort of technical yin-yang reason? There must be a blue in... Sorry, there must be a green in one of those, because otherwise that's a whole blue by blue tribe of 2 by 2-age. If that's green to avoid a checkerboard, and that blue would have to come out. If that's green, that's blue. So the way this splits up is... Oh, there's a fly. The way this splits up is into... It's a bit like this. It's 3 and 1 again. 3 blues. Okay, so it's either 1, 2, 3, 6, or 1, 2, 6, 9, or 2, 3, 4, 9 again. Oh. Okay. So, what that means, I do not know yet. Hang on. Let me think. Ooh. Do we know the polarity of that? I don't think we do. We've either got 3 greens here to match the 3 greens here. Do I know what that is? If that's... that can't... oh, that can't be... oh, hang on, that can't be blue. That's not what I was expecting at all, because now I've got 4 greens. If that's blue, it's a single cell. Adding up to at least 10, that's green. I've got 4 greens now, so that's blue. To avoid a 2 by 2. Do I know what that is? I probably do somehow, I don't know how. Okay, we've got to think about these 4 squares, I think. Okay, they're going to have to, because that's oscillating, 2 of these are high. So it's 2 highs and 2 low. Oh, you could repeat a digit, could you? Could those 2 repeat? Oh, no, no, they can't repeat. They can't repeat. There are different polarities. So if that's low, then this is low, and both of these are high. So you've always got 4 different numbers on this, because these 2 are the same polarity and those 2 are the same. So the minimum sum here, which I think is probably impossible. Oh no, maybe it isn't actually. 6, 7, 1, 2. 6, 7, 1, 2. Might actually work. Alright, that's the minimum sum, definitely. So that 6 here, 7 here, 1, 2 pair. Yeah, you cannot do better than that, can you? Because if you make those high, then you're using an 8 because you can't use 7. So you could go 6, 1, 8, 2. That would be the best. So the absolute minimum sum of this is 6, 7, 1, 2, which is 16. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh no, it's not. Well, yes, it is, isn't it? If I make this blue, these 3 digits add up to a number divisible by 3, because they'd be 3 different modularities. But we know the minimum is 16. 16 is not divisible by 3, so we'd have to go up to 18. And that can't add up to 18, because that's 2 different numbers in the same box. Yeah, in fact, you don't get anywhere near, do you? Because those are also 2 different polarities. So one of these is a low number. The maximum they could be is 4 and 9, which is 13, which can't add up to this. So this square here is in fact green. Oh, that's weird. Because now what's going on? Well, firstly, that blue has to get out. That has to avoid a 2 by 2. We've got a possible 2 by 2 now of blue, so that's green. Avoid a checkerboard here. That's blue. Let me just check the time. That's fine. I will have to read Enid Blyton at some point. So, but we're okay at the moment. Now, so this is at least 16. So these squares are either a 9, 7 or a 9, 8. They definitely include 9. This definitely includes 9. So 9 in column 9 is in one of those 3, possibly on this line. But it can't be, can it? If it was on the line, 6, 9, the line's minimum sum would be 6, 9, 1 and 2, which is 18, which this can't add up to. So we can't put 9 on the line. This is a 9. Yeah, we've got to be very careful with this, actually. And also, we've got to be very careful with this. We know we're adding up to 16 or 17, don't we? So, if these were both low... Oh, 3, 4, 9. I don't believe it. It works. It'll be that. 3, 4, 9. Adding up to 16. This will be 7 and 9. 7 and 9, 16. And then this had to be a particular way, didn't it? 6, 1. Oh no. 7. Oh, hang on. How did this work? How did I make this add up to... Hang on. There's a bigger problem here. I thought I could make this add up to 16. I'm now struggling to do that. I thought for some reason I could do 6, 7, 1, 2. But the fact I can't put 7 into any of those squares would mean the 7 is here, but the 6 would then be there, and that would be surrounded by double 1. I can't do that. Oh, okay, so this can't add up to 16 then. The absolute minimum. Yeah, the simple fact is I can't put 7 on the line. Because if I try, it has to go there, and this has to be a number that's not 6. And if it's 8, I've got 15 plus at least 3 more. That's 18, that's too big. So there is no 7 on this line. We definitely need a 6. So it's either going... Well, the point is it's 6 and... The absolute minimum this could be now is 2 high digits, which could be 6 and 8, because you can't put 7 on the line, and 2 low digits, 1 and 2, and that is 17. So it is 17. This becomes 9, 8. This is now different again, isn't it? Because if I put the low digits in the wings, 3 and 4 are the maximum, that's only 7. I can't put 10 here. So the way this works is that these two are high, and that's low, and that can't be 4, because that would cause double 9. Could it be 3? Oh, it can easily be 3, actually. Oh no, but 3 would cause 8, 9 in here. And that would break this square. So no, it can't be 3. Can it be 2? 2, these have to add up to 15. They could be 7 and 8, couldn't they? They couldn't be 9 and 6. So 2 works if this is very specifically 7 and 8. And 1, actually 1 will probably be... No! Oh yeah, 1 will probably be fine. Yeah, one will be fine. These have to add up to 16, and they'd be 9 and 7. So there's always a 7 in one of those squares, is what we've learnt. And this is 1 or 2. That's nearly useful, but not quite. Okay, but now can we somehow do this? We need a 1. We know the 1 is here. We need a 6 next to the 1. The 6 can't go there. So the 6 is in one of those two squares, and they are both... and it can't be here. Oh no, the 6 could be here. I'm talking absolute rubbish. I'm getting tired now. This puzzle is perplexing. 8 can't go here, can it? So 8 is on the line and in one of those 3 squares. Phone is buzzing. That's okay. So if that's 8, that's 6. So that doesn't work. So 8 is in one of these 2 squares now. And that means, oh, that's good. So now that's this is so clever, this puzzle. It's really brilliant. Now that is 6, because I need a 6 on the line. That's 1, that's 8, that's 2. 6 is in one of those squares. This 8 means I get the 8, 9 here resolved. That means I take 8 out of these squares, so they are 7 and 9. And that's a 1 to make the mathematics work. Right, now my Sudoku, there's some 9s, a 9 in one of those squares. Oh, hang on. Because that means this, which is definitely 3 blues and 1. Yeah, it can't be 2 greens there. Actually, I don't know if I thought about that before, but it can't be. Because if that's 2 greens, it's penning in the blue. So it is 3 blues, and they must add up to a number divisible by 3, which now cannot be 9 by Sudoku, so must be 6. So there is a 6 in one of those squares, don't know where. But the 6, oh no, I do sort of know where. It's in one of these 2 squares, because it's got to be in the green cell, wherever that lives. And the other numbers are 1, 2, and 3. So these are from 1, 2, and 3. These are from 1, 2, 3, and 6. And these don't include 2. So there's a 2 in one of those, and therefore a 2 in one of these. Sudoku is suddenly being our friend. And this is either blue here and green here, which would make both of those blue, or it's green here, and this is blue, and that would be green. And those 2 would be blue, and that would be blue on this other line that I've never even thought about. Can we use this staple thing again? Ah, that blue's got to get out. Let's do that. That avoid a checkerboard here, that's got to be blue. Avoid a 2 by 2, that's got to be green. Okay, that's good. But I actually wasn't going to think about that. I was wondering, like we did down here, is there some reason that that can't be blue? I think that's probably right. If that's blue again, how do we divide this line up? We can't make both of these green. One of them needs to be green, otherwise you've got a 2 by 2. And whichever one is green... Ah! No, whichever one is green is penning off a 1-cell region, which is impossible because it will be in the same box and it will have the same sum. So this has to be green. And does that do anything? Oh, it nearly does, but it doesn't. I don't think that can be green now, because remember green is whispered. So if you make that green, you have to have a chain of 3 greens, because otherwise you've got a checkerboard, and 3 greens will add up to too many. Oh, actually, I say that. Is that true? Well, the maximum size of this would be 7. Yeah, and one of these digits is high. Even if you add it to double 1, it doesn't work. So that is impossible. So this is blue. That's not. Oh, that's green. Okay, so it splits into a 2 by 2, and then avoid a checkerboard here. Ah, so this one has a 1-digit total adding to something. Ah, that's good, because this has to be green now. Otherwise, if this was blue, these would both have the same sum. So that's got to be green. Now avoid a 2 by 2. Now avoid a checkerboard. Now get that blue out. I bet this can't be green now, but betting is not logic. Okay, let's just pause for breath and think about this. I could have a 3 in the corner up there. That's a 3-4 pair. Not quite. Okay, we've got... the green here is adding... It's not able to be 6 plus 1, is it? So it's because that would break this square. So it's at least 7 plus 2, which is 9. So this adds up to... that's nothing. These add up to at least 9. These have to be different. This can't be 6, 1, because this square can't be 6 or 1. So this one is at least 2, 7. Which is 9. So that... oh no, I've broken it then. Oh, hang on. How do I fix that? This can't be a 9. Does this... oh, if I make... no, hang on. What have I missed here? I think I'm being slow now. If that was 7... oh, I see. No, I could do 7 and 1 and add it up to 8. Oh, thank goodness for that. I don't think I can do any better than that, can I? Can I make these 2 numbers add up to less than 8? The only way, given one of them is high, is if it's 6 and 1. And that is impossible, because this can be neither. So this is 8. This is 7 and 1. And if we put the 7 there, that would be the 1 and it would break. So that's 7, that's 1. This is not able to be green. That must be blue. Oh, bother. And that could be... Well, it can't be... Actually, it can't be green because it would be 8. So that is blue, and therefore that is green to avoid a 2 by 2. Yeah, and didn't we say that this was one of each, these two squares? So if we do it green here and blue here, we get a checkerboard there, so that's wrong. So that's got to be green, that's got to be blue, this has got to be the 6, this is now not 6. These two squares add up to 8, and they're from, okay, they're from different modularities. So what are the options there? Let's have a look at this. They could be anything, couldn't they? 3, 5. Oh, actually, they can't be 1, 7. That's true. So this is either 2 and 6. As 2 and 6 is restricted, it would have to be that way round. Or 3 and 5, which I think can be either way round. There might be some way of improving on that. That was a lot more restricted than I was expecting. That can't be 7 by our old friend Sudoku. Oh, I tell you what's concerning now. I tell you what's concerning now, and that is the fact that we have virtually filled the puzzle in terms of using up these lines and understanding how... I mean, I haven't done that one. I've got one down here I haven't thought about, but everything else has been quite carefully considered. There's an 8 in one of those two squares, and you know, there's nothing about the shading matters over here. It doesn't affect where these digits go. That's just going to be Sudoku. Shading only matters so far as it interacts with the brown lines. Ah, okay, that's a 9, because we worked out this had to be a 2, 3, 4, didn't we? We did that some time ago. And the 9 is the green digit. So that's a blue digit. So this green has to connect, so all of those turn green. This is now green, that's got to get out. Ah, there's going to have to... Okay, there has to be some blue in this corner. Otherwise, there's going to be too much green and too many 2 by 2s. How do we get the blue out? It's going to have to come through there. That's lovely, isn't it? That's quite a cool step. Now... Okay, so if that's blue as well. Then we've got 2 different modularities adding up to green. Just don't think there's any pressure down there. Let's think. Let's think. Is it Sudoku? I mean, it could be. A terrifying thought as that is. I mean, there's almost nothing to do now. Is it this 2, 3, 4 triple I've just got? Is that interacting there somehow? Oh, probably here. It's probably here, isn't it? This can't... The high digit on here is a 9, because it can't be a 1. So this is adding up to at least 11. And actually, look, the 9 that must be on here, because it can't be 6, 1, is sorting some things out by Sudoku. 9 is here. Is that surprising? No. Maybe I double-click 9s. That wasn't a very good idea. It just doesn't do anything, does it? I don't think 9 is restricted in this box. 8s? No, definitely not. 7s? Oh yeah, I get a 7 here. Okay, we'll take that. Yeah, this might be a strategy. 6. No. I've got no 5s. In fact, I've got hardly any low digits. Okay, so these squares here Do we need to have a 7 in there now? Yes. The minimum sum of this is 11. If there's no 7 here, the maximum sum is 9. So there is a 7 in here, and I know where it goes. So that's 7. So this is a digit that's not from the 147 set. It's either, and the digit that's accompanying the 9 here is 2, 3, or 4. So we have to create something here that works. So, I see. So 2, 9 doesn't work, because that's 11, which would be 7, 4, same modularity. Boom. So if this was 9, 3, that's fine from a whisper. They aren't the same modularity, so that's 12. 7, 5, that's different modularity, that's fine. And then 9, 4 is 13. This would be, that would be a 6. That doesn't work. Good. So this is 9, 3, and this is 5. And therefore that's not 5. What was the sum here? 8. So that's not 3. Oh, please. Oh, that would be so annoying if that doesn't do anything. There's a 5 in one of those squares now by Sudoku. These squares are 2, 3, and 4. So there's a 2, 3, 4 triple here, which means this is a 1, 6 pair. That one is finally hoisting. Yeah, this is a 1 now. This is a 2, 3 pair. That's a 4. Boom. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight. Losing its religion. 5, 7 pair here. This row needs 5s and 6s in it. Somehow that's not resolved. Okay. Well, it's still something. This is 2 or 3. This is 5. There's a 2, 3. Oh, look, there's a 2, 3 pair there in column 3. So that's 4. That's 2. Does that do something that I'm not expecting? Maybe. I don't know. 2, 4, 5, 6. This is a 2 or a 4 by Sudoku. C is a 5, 6 pair. Don't know. Okay. That's still... So which lines have I not used? I've not used this line. And I've not completed that line, but I all but have. How can... I'm really sceptical. Well, I mean, it must finish from here. It must finish from here. I'm just not sure. 6 is there. It's by Sudoku. I didn't see that. So 6 is here by Sudoku. So this is 5, this is 3. This is 3, this is 9. Okay, now I might believe it. 9 is in one of those, still unresolved. There's a sort of X-wing of 9s that we can't do. This square is no longer a 3. So we've got 2, 4, and 8 into these squares, and that's not 2. And that seems to be able to be anything. The 3 here is good. So that's 3, that's 2. Nearly. Nearly got me a 2. This is 5. Okay, so this is 2 or 4 by Sudoku. This 5 is doing work. That's 5, that's 3. So in this column, what do we need? 2, 4, 8. So this is 4 or 8. And that's 2, 4. 2, 4 or 8. Can we do some more yin-yanging? Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, for goodness sake, Simon, look. This little shape here has been totally penned in. It's got to get out. This little shape has to now get out. Aha. So that goes blue. That blue has to get out. Oh, it's beautiful. Right, so now let's... Oh, look, I've done it there. That's a completely... Like, I mean, it's a strange shape, but it does exist. There's still got to be some more blue down in the corner to avoid green 2x2s. But it's going to be this line, isn't it, that's going to finish everything. In this row, I've got a 2, 4 pair. So these squares are 1 and 9, I believe. That's worth recording. Oh, there could be another 3 in the corner, you know. 3 is down here. Now, this is a 9. So this can't be green, because if it's green, that square's got to be blue, and it's got to be whatchamacallit, a double-digit number. So this is blue. So that can't be 9, so that's blue. These are 2 digits that sum to 9. Oh goodness, oh, this is now green. This is blue. This is blue. And all we've got to do now is to come up with something that works along this line, which is going to be 2 different modular numbers, isn't it? Can't be 3, 6. I mean, I was wondering whether it could be from the same set, but 3, 6 doesn't work. So we're looking at something like 1 here, 8 here. Looks fine, I think. 2, 7. 7 here, 2 here. 3, 6 doesn't work. These 6s take care of that. 4, 5. 4 here. 5 here. Still loads of options. Okay, there must be more Sudoku to be done, I think. Where should we look for that? Aha, I will look there. That is where I shall look. 5. Ah. No, 5. I want to put 5 here. That would be a 4. That would clear up a lot of nonsenses. How do we clear up the nonsenses? Okay, let's think. Oh, this must be solved now. It must be. There's nothing more to do. Do we know the order of this 2, 3, 4 somehow in a way I don't realise? There's definitely a 3 in one of these squares. Can I do that? 5, 7? What about this column? 1, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, 1's down here actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to do more Sudoku. Oh, that's a naked single. That's a 4. It can only be a 4, I think. So that becomes 8. That's no longer 8. This is now a 2. So these squares are now a 1, 6 pair, which is presumably going to be helpful. These squares are 3. Ah, that's a 3. That's a 5. That's a 5. That's a 7. This digit is now gettable. That's got to be a 7. These digits are 4, 8, 9. 4, 8, 9. That's not 9. That's not 4. Come on, come on. We're nearly there. This column. What do we need? 2, 4, 8 again. 2, 4, 8. So this digit is 1, which it could well be. 5, which it could well be. Or 7, which it could well be. Bother. Oh, hang on. I've got a problem here. Hang on. This green's been isolated. Oh. Oh, hang on. When did I do that? Let me just go back. Oh, that was down here. Oh. Oh, hang on. Hang on. The only way of getting this out is to make this whole line green. I can't do that. Oh, any change. Ah, maybe I can do that. Ah, right. So the wording in the rules says, along a line, any changes in shading divide that line into segments of fully shaded or fully unshaded cells. Oh, that's fascinating. So actually, there is no change of colour on this line. That's annoying in a way, because I was going to rely on that adding up to 9 to actually make any progress. Ah, but then I can use whispers. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's really clever. Right, so what we should do, did I actually use... I know I thought about it, but I don't think I could deduce anything on this line. So what I'm going to do is these two cells. Oh, it's these two cells and any shading I did in box 7 I'm going to remove. Yeah, see, I've not used that line yet from a Sudoku perspective. I'm just doing Sudoku elsewhere in the grid. So now I'm putting these in, and now I think it was around here that I spot that I've made a ricket. Yeah, but I haven't even pencil marked this off the back of this being 9. So what we do now is we take this all out. All of this colouring is nonsense, because we have to get this green out. We get the green out. We must get some blue in this area here, so that blue's got to get out. And we've got to connect the green, and that finishes the colouring. Beautiful. Beautiful. So now, but now this is beautiful as well, because we can now use the fact this is a complete whispers line. So this definitely is not 8. So that is where the 8 goes in the column. Oh, don't believe it. That doesn't do anything. Okay, but this is a high digit. It's not a 5. You can't put 5 on a whispers line. So that's 5. That's 5. That's 7. 7 is in one of those two. It could be here if this is a 2. But this is high digit. Okay, so it is 7 or 8. And this is a 2-4 pair now. So this is a 3. So this is a 3. And that's going to be very useful for the following reason. We don't get another 3 in the corner, unfortunately. This square's a 6. It can't be a 1. So that's 6, that's 1, that's 6. And all I've got to do now is figure out what's going on in this box where the 1 goes in the corner. And this is 7 or 8. And if that's 4, you can't fill this with 9. So this can't be 4, and it would have to be 9, because they're the only digits that are, or 9 is the only digit that's 5 different from 4. So that's going to unwind all of this on the right hand side of the grid. All of that got finished by that. That's now an 8, that's a 2. Does that do it? Maybe 1 and 9 go into those squares, so that's 9. And now this is 8. This is 4, so that's 4 by Sudoku. We need 6 and 7, and that 5, look at that, and it finally finishes. What a puzzle that is. That's epically clever. Wow. I mean, I have to say, I thought that was fascinating from start to finish, and really, really surprising. That little staple thing there did wonderful work. I mean, until you understand exactly how that works, you can't do anything. You can investigate lots of things, and actually it was helpful to do that, because once we understood the staple, we could fill lots of things in. But throughout, that's really original. The whole logic of that is really clever, and I actually quite like that ending, although it was a bit disturbing that line suddenly changed its nature altogether, and then all of the little deadly patterns were figured out. So it's been around for just over a month, and it's really, really cool. AnalyticalNinja and Palpot, take a bow. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.